All right, this is the tutorial video for Access Unit D, which is over using reports. Page Access 80 starts you with Use the Report Wizard. All right, so we are going to start on page 80 with the Use the Report Wizard page. So a report is just a primary object that you can use to print database content because it provides the most formatting, layout, and summary options. A report may include various fonts, colors, clip art and lines, and multiple headers and footers. A report can also calculate subtotals, averages, counts, and other statistics for groups of records. You can create reports in Access by using your Report Wizard, which is a tool that asks questions to guide you through the initial development of the report. Your responses to the Report Wizard determine the record source, style, and layout of the report. The record source is a table or query that defines the fields and records displayed on the report. The Report Wizard also helps you sort, group, and analyze the records. So, I am going to start Access and open the Quest Travel D file. Remember, when you go to select this file, you need to copy and paste it from the computer apps drive to your own personal drive, and then when you save the file, your last name should be at the end of the file. I'm going to enable content if I need to do so. Click the Create tab on the ribbon, and then click the Report Wizard button in the Reports group. Next, I'm going to click the Tables and Queries list arrow and select my States table as shown. I'm going to double-click the State Name field, and then I'm going to click my Tables and Queries list arrow again. This time I'm going to select the Tours table. And I want to go ahead and select all the fields, and then click the state abbreviation in the selected fields, and click the Remove Field button. Now I realize I'm undoing some of the work that I just did, but you can understand it's easier to add all these fields and remove one than to add every single field individually. Now I'm going to click Next, then click By States if it is not already selected. So by choosing By States, it's going to group the records together for each state. In addition to record grouping options, the Report Wizard will later ask you if you want to sort the records within each group. You can use the Report Wizard to specify up to 4 fields to sort in either ascending or descending order. I'm going to select Next again to include no additional grouping levels. Click the First Sort List arrow, click Tour Start Date, and then click Next again. Now I'm going to click the Stepped Option button, click the Landscape Option button, and then select Next. Type Tours by State for my report title, and once I finish that, I will click Finish. So, the Tours by State report is going to open in Print Preview, which displays the report as it appears when it is printed. This is also shown in your book as Figure D2 on page Access 81. The records are, as you can see, grouped by state. The first state is going to be California, and then they are sorted in ascending order by the tour start date field within each state. Reports are read-only objects. That means that you can use them to read and display data, but you are not going to be able to change any of the data. You can change data in your tables, queries, or forms. All right, so I'm going to scroll down to see the second grouping section of the report for the state of Colorado. Then click the Next Page button in the navigation bar to see the second page of the report. Even in landscape orientation, which is the wide orientation where it's 11 inches wide and 8 by 5 inches tall, the fields in the Tours by State report may not fit on one sheet of paper. The labels in your column headings and the data in the columns needed to be resized to improve the layout. So depending on your monitor, especially if you're on a laptop, you might need to scroll to the right to display all the fields on this page. All right, so we are going to start the Use Report Layout view on page Access 82. So reports have multiple views, just like all the other objects we've worked with in Access so far. The views that you use are for various report building and report viewing activities. Although some tasks can be accomplished in more than one view, each view has a primary purpose to make your work with reports as easy and efficient as possible. The different report views are going to be summarized in Table D1 on Access page 83. So, Report View is used to quickly review the report without page breaks. Print Preview is used to review each page of an entire report as it would appear if it were to be printed. Layout View is used to modify the size, position, or formatting of controls. It's going to show live data as you modify the report, making it the tool of choice if you want to change the appearance and positioning of controls on a report while you're also viewing data. And Design View is to work with report sections or access the complete range of controls and report properties. Design View will not display any data. So, I'm going to right-click the Tours by State Report tab and then click Layout View. Layout View opens and applies a grid to the report that helps me resize, move, and position controls. So, I will click Huntington Beach or any value in the city column. It does not have to say Huntington Beach. If yours does not, it's okay. Then I'm going to use my resizing pointer to drag the right edge of the city column to the left to narrow it to about half of its current size. This is going to be shown on figure D3 on page Access 83 in your book. So I've created some extra space on the report. I'm going to click 500 or any value in the price column. It does not have to be 500. And use my crossbar pointer to drag the price values to the left of the category column. I'm going to click the price label and then use my crossbar pointer to move the price label to the left of the category label. All the columns are now within the boundaries of a single sheet of paper in landscape orientation. So I'm going to click 22 or any value you have in your tour number column and click the Home tab and then click the Center button in the text formatting group. Now I'm going to use my resizing pointer to resize both sides of the tour start date, tour number, and tour name columns and their labels to the left. Then use the resizing pointer to resize the category, price, city, and duration columns and their labels to the right. Now I'm going to resize the tour name column so that all of the data is visible, paying special attention to the longest value, which is Yosemite National Park Great Cleanup. Now I'm going to resize the duration label to display the complete text. Now I'm going to click the state name label, click between the words state and name, and press the space bar so that the label reads state name. Then modify the tour start date, tour number, and tour name so that they all contain spaces as well. I'm going to continue resizing the columns so that all the data is visible, and my report will end up looking like figure D4 in your book on page 83. Now I'm going to continue on to the review report sections, which is on page Access 84. Report sections are going to determine where and how often controls in that section print in the final report. For example, controls in the report header section will only print once at the beginning of the report, but controls in the detail section print once for every record that the report displays. Table D2 in your book describes the report sections. It can be found on page Access 84. I'm going to move on to working through your steps. Alright, I'm going to begin by right-clicking the Tours by State tab, selecting Print Preview, and you may need to scroll up and click the light blue bar at the top of the report if you need to zoom in to display the first page of the report as shown in figure D5 on page 85 of your book. Now I'm going to click the Next Page button on the navigation bar to move to the second page of the report. If the second page of your report does not contain data, it means that the report may be too wide to fit on a single sheet of paper. I can fix this problem in Report Design View. So I'm going to right-click the Tours by State tab, select Design View, scroll to the far right using the bottom horizontal scroll bar, and then use my pointer to drag the right edge of the report as far as I can to the left as shown in figure D6 in your book on page 85. In Report Design View, I can work with the report sections and make modifications to a report that I cannot make in other views, such as narrowing the width. Report Design View does not display any data. For your report to fit on one page in landscape orientation, you need to move all of the controls within the 10.5 mark on your horizontal ruler using the default 0.25 left and right margins. You will practice fixing this problem by moving all of the controls within the 10-inch mark on the ruler to make sure they fit into the landscape printout. Use your crossbar pointer to drag the page calculation about a half an inch to the left, and then I will use my pointer to drag the right edge of the report as far as I can to the left. I'm going to right-click the Tours by State tab, click Print Preview, and then click to navigate to the last page of the report. And then I'm going to zoom in and out to examine the pages as shown in figure D7 in your book, found on page 85. Now we're going to work on applying group and sort orders. So grouping means to sort the records by a particular field, plus provide a header and or footer section before and after each group. For example, if you group your records by the state name field, the group header is called State Name Header, and the group footer is called State Name Footer. Alright, so let's get started on step 1. I'm going to click the Close Print Preview button and return to Report Design View, and then click the Group and Sort button in the Grouping and Totals group. So currently the records are grouped by state abbreviation and further sorted by Tours start date. To add the category field as a grouping field within each state, I'm going to work with the Group, Sort, and Total pane in the Report Design View. Click the Add a Group button in the Group, Sort, and Total pane, and then I'm going to select Category. Then I'm going to click the Move Up button on the right side of the Group, Sort, and Total pane so that the category is positioned between state abbreviation and Tours start date. A category header section is added to Report Design View just below the state abbreviation header section. You move the category control from the detail section to the category header section so that it will print only once for each new category instead of once for each record in the detail section. I'm going to right-click the category combo box in the detail section. I'm going to select Cut on the shortcut menu, right-click in the category header section, and click Paste. Then I'm going to use the crossbar pointer to drag the category combo box to the right position as shown in figure D8 in your book. So now that I have moved the category combo box to the category header, it will print only once per category within each state. Now I'm going to click the category label in the page header section and press delete. Then I will switch to print preview and zoom to 100%. The Tours by State report should look like figure D9 in your book, which is found on page Access 87. You can see that the records are now grouped by category within state. Detail records are further sorted in ascending order by tour start date. We are going to start the Add Subtotals and Counts section of your book. It's on page Access 88. So in a report, you can use a calculation by entering an expression into a text box. You did this in the last unit. When a report is previewed or printed, the expression is evaluated and the resulting calculation is placed on the report. An expression is a combination of field names, operators, which are your addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication signs, and functions that's going to result in a single value. A function is a built-in formula such as sum or count that helps you quickly create a calculation. Every expression will start with an equal sign just like it did in Excel. And when it uses a function, the arguments for the function are placed in parentheses. Arguments are the pieces of information that a function needs to create the final answer. When an argument is a field name, the field name must be surrounded by square brackets. The last time you did calculations, you used field names and you used square brackets. I'm going to switch to Report Design View. I'm going to select the More button for the state abbreviation field in the Group, Sort, and Total pane. Click the Without a Footer section list arrow. Click the With a Footer section, and then do the same for the category field as shown in figure D10 in your book on page Access 89. Now I'm going to click the text box button in the Controls group, and then click just below the duration text box in the category footer section. Adding a new text box automatically adds a new label to its left. First, I'm going to modify the label to identify the information, and then I'm going to go ahead and modify the text box to contain the correct expression. So I'm going to select the Text 19 label. If your label may not read Text 19, it's okay. If it reads Text 20, Text 21, whatever number it reads, it's fine. You're still going to select it, and you're going to type total days, colon. I'm going to click the Unbound text box to select it, and click Unbound again. And then I'm going to type equals, sum, parenthesis, square bracket, duration, square bracket, parenthesis. When I'm finished, I'll press Enter, and then widen the text box to view the entire expression. Because this expression is entered into the category footer section, it will sum all the duration values for that category within the state. To sum the duration values for each state, the expression needs to be inserted into the state abbreviation footer. So I'm going to right-click the equals sum duration text box, click Copy, and right-click the state abbreviation footer section and select Paste. Then I'm going to press my right arrow enough times to position the controls in a state abbreviation footer just below those in the category footer section as shown in figure D11 in your book, which is on page 89. Finally, I will switch to Print Preview, navigate to the last page of the report, and click Zoom so that I can see all of the Washington tours. This is shown in figure D12 in your book on page 89. Now we're going to move to page Access 90 to resize and align controls. So after I've added information to the appropriate section of a report, I might also want to align the data in precise columns and rows to make the information easier to read. To do so, I can use two different types of alignment commands. You can left, right, or center align a control with its own border using the align left, center, and align right buttons on the Home tab. I can also align the edges of controls with respect to one another using the left, right, top, and bottom commands on the Align button in the Arrange tab in Report Design view. So step 1, I'm going to switch to Layout View, click the Design tab on the ribbon, and then click the Group and Sort button to toggle off the Group, Sort, and Total pane. I'm going to click the Total Days text box in the category footer, click the Home tab, select the Right Align button in the text formatting group, and then use my resizing pointer to resize the text box so that the data is aligned in the duration column as it's shown in your book in figure D13 on page XS91. I'm going to scroll down the report far enough to find and then click the Total Days text box in the state abbreviation footer. I'm going to click the Right Align button and then use my resizing pointer to resize the text box so that that is the same width as the text box in the category footer section. I'm going to scroll through the report so that I can see all of the Colorado tours as shown in figure D14 in your book on page XS91. Table D3 in your book is going to provide techniques for selecting more than one control at a time in Report Design view. Please review that table before moving on to the next section. Our next page is going to work on formatting a report. So formatting just refers to enhancing the appearance of the information. Table D4 in your book on page XS93 lists several of the most popular formatting commands found on the Formatting tab when you are working in the Layout or Report Design view. Although the Report Wizard automatically applies many formatting embellishments, you may want to change the appearance of your report to fit your particular needs. So step 1, I'm going to switch to Design View, click the Category Header section bar, select the Format tab on my ribbon, and click the Alternate Row Color button arrow. Then I'm going to select No Color, click the Shape Fill button, and select the Maroon 2 color square as shown in figure D15 in your book on page XS93. When you use the alternate row color and shape fill buttons, you're actually modifying the back color and alternate back color properties for the property sheet of the section or control that you have selected. Background shades can help differentiate parts of the report, but be careful with dark colors because they could print as solid black on some printers or fax machines. Step 3, switch to Layout View to review your modifications. Step 4, I'm going to click the Tours by State label in the Report Header section, click the Home tab, and then click the Bold button in the Text Formatting group. The report in Layout View should look like figure D16 in your book, found on page XS93. Step 5, I'm going to switch to Report Design View and drag the bottom edge of the report footer down about a ½ inch. I'm going to click my Label button in the Controls group, click the 1-inch mark in the report footer and type Create It By, insert your name, your first and last name, and press enter. Then click the Home tab, click the bold in the text formatting group. I'm going to save and preview the Tours by State report. I do not want you to print this report. All right, our last page in this section is going to help us create mailing labels. So mailing labels are often created to apply to envelopes, postcards, or letters when assembling a mass mailing. They have many other business purposes too, such as applying them to paper file folders or name tags. Any data in your Access database can be converted into labels using the Label Wizard, which is a special report wizard that precisely positions and sizes information for hundreds of standard business labels. Step 1, I'm going to click the Customers table in the navigation pane, click the Create tab, and then click the Labels button in the Reports group. The first Label Wizard dialog box opens. The Filter by Manufacturer list box provides over 30 manufacturers of labels. Because Avery is the most common, it is the default by choice. With the manufacturer selected, your next task is to choose the product number of the labels you will feed through the printer. The cover on your box of labels that you would be using would provide this information. For this exercise, we're going to use Avery 5160 labels, a common type of sheet label used for mailings and other purposes. So, now I'm going to select that label. I'm going to scroll through the product list and click 5160 if it is not already selected, as shown in figure D17 in your book on page Access 95. Next, I'm going to click Next, and then click Next again to accept the default font and color choices. Now I'm going to construct my label. I'm going to double-click first name, press spacebar, double-click last name, press Enter, double-click street, Enter, double-click city, type a comma, and then press spacebar. Double-click state, press spacebar again, and then double-click zip. If your prototype label doesn't look exactly like figure D18, or how mine looks here, delete the fields in the prototype label box and try again. Be careful not to put a space between the first and last name fields in the first row, a comma and a space between city and state fields, and a space between the state and zip fields. Again, it should look like my screen or figure D18 in your book on page Access 95. Click Next. Double-click last name to select it as a sorting field. Select Next again, and then click Finish to accept the name labels customers for the new report. Then I'm going to click OK if I am prompted to do so. A portion of the report is shown in figure D19 in your book on page Access 95. It is generally a good idea to print the first page of the report on standard paper to make sure everything is aligned correctly. I am not going to have you print this, so if you could close the Labels Customer report and close the Quest Travel D database, then you can go ahead and exit Access 2013 and start on your homework activities for this chapter.